I'm thinking about buying a home, or maybe I just bought a home. How do I get rid of PMI? That's what we're gonna cover in today's video. I'm Nathan. In case you're new here, I'm a real estate investor and mortgage lender. And we're gonna cover 3 ways to remove PMI or private mortgage insurance. So let's jump right into it. So you're normally gonna have PMI or private mortgage insurance if you put less than 20% down. So let's paint a picture or a scenario here where I'm buying a $500,000 home and I'm trying to save up 20% down. So that's about $100,000, right? 20% of 500 grand. Saving up 100 grand might be a very daunting task for many people. We have that path, right? Save up 20% to go buy a home, or we have the other path, which is, let's call it less than 20% down. And we can actually put as low as 3% down for a first-time home buyer. Unless you're a VA, then you could put 0%. But let's just say path 1, 20% down. The other path is less than 20% down. So let's say we take the first path, which is save up 20% down, or 100 grand in this hypothetical scenario. So let's take that path and let's just say on average, most people can save, let's call it $20,000 per year. So doing the math there, 20,000, 20,000, 20,000 and beyond, right? It would take about 5 years to save up $100,000. But what I'm forgetting to mention is that $500,000 home, more than likely over 5 years, will become $625,000. And I know I threw a ton of numbers out there, but if you do the simple math there, it takes about 6 years to save up for 20% down, and also trying to fight against home prices going up. So on the other path, we have less than 20% down, putting 3% down in this hypothetical example. That $500,000 home, you would need about $15,000 saved up. So we can't deny that having 15 grand saved up is a lot easier than 100,000 or maybe even 125,000. So this video is focused on the other path, which is putting less than 20% down. So method number 1 is just the auto removal method. You just buy a home, you put 3% down, 5% down, or whatever it is, and you just wait for the loan to naturally go down to 78% of the original appraised value or purchase price. So in this situation, if we do the math there, the mortgage would need to be paid down to about $390,000, and then your mortgage insurance would be automatically removed. And you'll be able to find this document in your final loan documents or closing disclosure. It's called an amortization table. Fancy term for it just lays out the payments from month 1 to month 360. So paying the loan down to $390,000, to most people, that'll take a long time, especially if you started with like a $475,000 loan. So that leads me to method number 2, which is the most popular, requesting your PMI to be removed. So with this method, what essentially happens if you believe that your home value has gone up since your purchase, and most of the time that is the case, you can actually request your PMI to be removed. Look on your mortgage statement and call that servicing number, which is usually like a 1-800 number. And all you need to do is say this little blurb that I'm gonna give you right now. How do I remove my PMI? I believe my home value has gone up since I originally bought it. And you can essentially just repeat what I just said to the person that picks up the phone. They should be able to walk you through the steps of how to remove your mortgage insurance. So generally speaking, I'll give you some rules of thumb. You'll need to pay at least 1 to 2 years at a minimum of your mortgage payment before you can request it. They also may ask if you've made some significant improvements for your home, like on the kitchen, bathroom, etc., to warrant having your PMI removed. The other thing is, usually when you go through the process and you pass the initial screening, they may ask you to order an appraisal and pay for that, right? Just so you can get an updated value. Then hypothetically, if the value is there, they'll actually remove your mortgage insurance. I would say plan on it taking maybe 2 to 4 weeks for that process from when you call and they approve the appraiser to go out to your property, and then having it come back and then your mortgage insurance removed. All right, so pro tip for method number 2, you might be wondering, okay, what home value should I actually have to hit in order to be close to be removing my PMI? So here's the pro tip. You take your current mortgage balance, divide it by 0.8, and that'll give you a number, which is the projected home value you need to remove your PMI. So let's take this example where we have a mortgage balance of $470,000 divided by 0.8, and you'll get a number of $587,500. So that $500,000 home, right, it's probably gone up over time. You more than likely would be able to remove your PMI, assuming it goes up, 5% every year, just as an example, kind of in that 2 to 3 year window. Method number 3 is refinancing, okay? This is especially popular if you're in an FHA loan where you have this mortgage insurance for 11 years or maybe for the full 30 years, depending on how much you put put down. So essentially what happens is you can just replace the loan, go from an FHA loan or whatever loan you're in, and go into another loan where you can essentially kill two birds with one stone, where you can lower your payment and remove your mortgage insurance. I would say this method is very popular, like I just mentioned, for FHA, or if you're in a stable or decreasing interest rate cycle. If you found this interesting, consider following me on all the socials. And like always, I'm rooting for you. This is Nathan, signing out.